Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. I'm going to start sharing my screen in just a little bit, and I'm going to be talking about one of the swing trades that I took yesterday. If you're part of TechBot Solutions, if you're part of Learn Plan Profit, I'm going to give it a little bit of seconds just so everybody can kind of or at least a decent amount of people can start tuning in so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But could you guys guess what stock I ended up swing trading today? Let's check it out. So, well, I guess I kind of gave it up, right? Let's see. All right. Is this the live one? Let's see. All right, well, I'm just going to get right to it. So it ended up being ticker symbol UGAS, right? I'm going to explain to you exactly why it is that I saw value in it. I'm going to go to the 5-day, 5-minute chart. And what I wanted to talk about is I talked to the Learn Plan Profit group this morning. I was trading live with them for a little bit. I ended up having to cut losses. I was actually up over $2,900 on the day. Ended up having to give back about, what I've locked in a little bit over a little bit under $300 profit. So I'll show you right now on ticker symbol UGAS. I ended up making $2,521 profit. Half of that was basically from swing trading with the 200 shares that I had on ticker symbol UGAS that I bought right before close. And I talked to, if you're part of TechBot Solutions, if you're part of Learn Plan Profit, I didn't announce it. I didn't want to tag everyone that, hey, I bought you guys, because I know a lot of people just jump right into it. But what I wanted to talk about was why I saw value in it. And that's kind of like what I did yesterday. So on /NG, I'm going to close this out real quick. One of the things that, when I try to look at patterns, I really yes, I want to look at UGAS and DGAS, but I find so much more value in looking at /NG because there's no restriction really when it comes down to the trading hours. So I can only see patterns on UGAS and DGAS on normal trading hours and pre-market and aftermarket during extended hours, right? That's all the data that I have to analyze. But natural gas moves so much more. And it continues to push, right? And sometimes you're not going to be able to capture and identify those resistance that would have been able to have been identified if you would have just looked at the future, because the futures trade longer than the actual ETF themselves. And the really cool thing about that is that a couple days ago, I ended up hitting a resistance right around 370. Again, I like to focus on general areas. Yes, it hit highs of 372.2 if you want to be exact. I don't really care about that. What I care about is around 3.65 to about 3.70. It became a little bit more on the overbought side. It sold off, it corrected itself, it bounced at around 340, around that general area, 340, 345, whatever it is that you want to call it, built a support, and then bounced. And I saw the same kind of pattern forming yesterday. I saw it sell off, sell off, sell off, and I saw a lot of consolidation right around this area. And I found that to be very attractive. And Nick, who's Nick Palladino, the fitness personal trainer, he was here visiting the TechBot teams just for about 2 to 3 days. And we were at the gym and we were talking about UGAS was selling off very aggressively, but the rate in which it was selling off began to kind of slow down. And then we got back from the gym. I did a little bit more of an analysis, and I saw this consolidation that it did, just 24 hours before this around that same area. So I was like, it's kind of building a support. And what I kind of looked at is that not only on the technical standpoint did it make sense, but again, we know that when it comes down to natural gas and the overall consumption of during winter or cold forecasts, natural gas ends up doing and performing exceptionally well. There was this news article about actually natural gas just broke above the middle VWAP on /NG. But the really cool thing about that news article that I read was that there's this huge winter storm coming. The overall projection and forecast for natural gas was the overall consumption would go up, therefore meaning that /NG would follow. So I had an idea of on the technical standpoint on why it would go up, but on top of the fundamental standpoint on the overall forecast that was recent, that acted as a huge catalyst from Sunday to Monday that drove the price up 34%. Natural gas has been very volatile. And I just identified this very simple pattern of this low point and the high point. That was the reason because of my due to my swing trade, right? So I identified a support, I identified a resistance, and there was a reason behind it. That's what I want to make sure that you guys understand. Anytime that you guys are planning to swing trade something, make sure that it's not because you wanted to day trade something and didn't perform the way that you wanted to, you didn't want to cut losses, so you end up swing trading it due to just not wanting to cut losses. But when it comes down to actually wanting to take a swing trade because of the upside potential and the margin that it has to offer, and you see that value, then that's when it makes a little bit more sense. Actually, I don't think that this live chat is the one that's part of this one. So I'm going to go here real quick. Here we go. Let me pop this one out real quick. Sorry about that, team. Here we go. There we go. All right, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that all those that are commenting right now, that I could say what's up. So what's going on, Nahal? What's going on, Max? What's going on, AB? And yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. That was the reason due to my swing trade. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen one of my stories, and market opens for TD Ameritrade that allows me to trade during pre-market hours as early as 5 o'clock. So due to my swing trade, right after 5 o'clock, I was able to lock in profits, ended up getting rejected. Locked in profits. Again, when natural gas pushes up, UGAS is up. So I saw that it was at a resistance, locked in profits. It began to sell off, broke again above the EMA line, entered my position. And the real margin that I was really trying to focus on that I found to be very consistent was the support right around 3.54 and the resistance right around 3.56. 3.56 to 3.57, depending on how risky I wanted to be. Again, I didn't care how much it pushed up. I didn't care how much it went down. I had this little margin where it kept consolidating at. It then sold off, bought in again, sold off, and then this is where I made like my initial mistake. I bought in. My entry point was not the best, if I'm not mistaken, in how it correlates on over to UGAS. My entry point was right around 59.76. For all those that are part of Learn Plan Profit, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was my overall entry point. And I didn't lock in profits quick enough. As soon as the market opened, I was up a little bit, but very little, like $50, $80, and I had 400 share position size. It ended up getting rejected by this middle VWAP, and then this is when its overall direction began to change. And this is something that I should have maybe reacted a little bit quicker on. I ended up taking a $300 loss, so I don't feel like I risk too much for my overall position size. I just still feel like I managed my risk and had a pretty good cushion for the day, and that's one of the most important parts. But what I started to notice was that it no longer started to follow this pattern that we had of support here and resistance here. It began to make lower highs and then started to get rejected by this green line, which is what we call the SMA, the simple moving average, and then started getting rejected by the overall middle VWAP. And then the natural gas report came out. And again, for all those that are part of Learn Plan Profit, we were live during that natural gas report. I didn't take advantage of that opportunity. The reason why was the margin that it built was not clear. I mean, it was about 1%, and I didn't find that to be that attractive. It was 1% on UGAS. So when the natural gas report came out, that was around 8:30. And when that came out, it pushed up about 1.2%, dropped about a little bit less than 1%, and then just began to sell off. And one of the biggest things that I told the Learn Plan Profit group was that, it was uptrending during pre-market hours, and that's great, but it looks like right as soon as like the market was about to open, and this has happened a lot this week. And again, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of like just timing on when the market opens and when this thing begins to sell off. But it began to consolidate for quite some time, and then just began to sell off. It sold off very aggressively, built a support, and is now starting to show signs of a recovery. Again, I'm pretty much done trading for the day. I ended up exceeding my daily goals, so I'm much more. I'm like so happy with what it is that I was able to bring in. I just wanted to explain to you guys why I ended up taking the swing trade position and why I took that day trade position. And although my last day trade was not necessarily like a green one, I ended up giving back a little bit under $300. It's okay because the most important part was that I cut losses right around, if I'm not mistaken, 58.95. So I gave about around a little bit under $300. But then the thing with that is I didn't have to experience this huge sell-off. That would have set me back completely, right? That's almost about 10%. And, with a $25,000 position size, that would have given back pretty much all my profits that I felt like I worked so hard for. So again, one of the most important parts is not only doing well when it comes down to identifying patterns, having reasoning behind what it is that you do, but one of the most difficult parts I would say for traders is the emotional aspect of trading. And I think a lot of that has to do with risk management. Initially, when you first get started and invest in the stock market, just be honest with yourself. Why do you get started? It's probably to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would quickly maybe turn that kind of perspective of the market and focus much more on the market when you're first getting started to be empowered to learn new things. When you're first getting started, you're probably not going to make money. And you have to understand that 90% of people fail. And what's one of the biggest reasons that they fail is because they don't understand how to trade. So then you need to understand how to trade, and it takes time to get there. So instead of going in with like everything in your bank account and funding your TD Ameritrade account, I know you guys have worked really hard for your money, and some of you guys have more money than others, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that that is like a specific like leverage and a leg up that you have on the average person, and that's great. You worked really hard for that money. Now you want to make sure that it works really hard for you, but you first need to understand how to actually trade it and invest it, and that takes time. So one of the most important like factors that I've been trying to focus on this specific month, just to kickstart 2019 strong, is cutting losses and being able to manage your risk. Trust me, it's one of the best practices that I think someone can learn, and I know that if you refine that strategy and you become a true professional in cutting losses, and every single time that you take a position, regardless of what happens, if there's a breakup pattern or if it just begins to sell off, if every single time you have a stop loss in mind or you have a max dollar loss in mind, trust me, you will be so much better off. I can't forget about my profits today, forget about everybody else and how much money they're making today. It's irrelevant to you. We're all a per case basis, right? And you want to make sure that you don't focus on how well other people are doing and trying to impress others. This is all about making sure that you understand what it is that you are doing. And trust me, I know a lot of you, because some of you had one of your most successful days on Monday and then on Tuesday and then yesterday, because the market has been doing really well, especially with natural gas. Some of you have probably had one of your worst days ever. And this is the turning point. This is where you either decide to quit or where you actually will implement the change that is needed to be successful. And it doesn't mean that you have to do anything fancy. You don't need any special strategies or anything like that. Trust me, you need to do the simple things that so many people overlook. And that's managing risk, not trading based off other people's opinion, being able to stay disciplined, and making sure that you focus on quality trades. Yes, it takes time to refine each one of those best practices, but guess what? We have nothing but time. So I don't know what your excuse is. I just want to make sure that I'm here to remind you and to slap you back into place that you are someone that should be empowered to learn, and that I'm here to hold you accountable. So I want to thank you guys again so much for your time. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. But yeah, I'm super pleased, super blessed with being able to have cleared a little bit over $2,500 today. Thank you guys again for all those that watch. If you guys enjoyed this video, we really appreciate the thumbs up. I have a very, I think, helpful video that I'm going to be uploading. I'm going to be filming it, and then I'm going to upload it around 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So be sure to stay tuned to that. So if you guys aren't subscribed already, we'd love to have you. We are the largest YouTube channel for those who invest in the stock market. And again, if you want to join our free Facebook group, we have over 184,000 members. Be sure to click that first link in the description. And if you want the ability to watch me trade live every single day, you heard me talk about them. It's the Learn Plan Profit group. I work with them on an everyday basis. You can direct message me. It's much more, it's a group that I work a little bit closer with every single day. So if you would like that assistance, I'd love that opportunity to work with you. Again, I'm not going to tell you what to trade. I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm going to hold you accountable for everything it is that you do, as long as you engage with me. And that's the most important part. So if you have 5 minutes, check out that second link in the description, and I would love the opportunity to work with you on a closer basis. What's going on, Douglas? Super happy to have you as part of the team. Again, guys, wish you guys an amazing Thursday. Have fun and make someone smile today. Take it easy.